Again, we'll just call him Winston Smith from federaljack.com. Winston, any other tidbits you want to add? And then some of the guys in there, Matt Ryan and others, they wanted to talk about the fact that, Microsoft routinely goes to hacker conferences and gives the source code out to new Windows versions and says, try to break it if you can. And that the government has, and Google and others, which is basically the government, really tries to recruit all the hackers they can to then work for them, I guess, on the dark side. What percentage of hackers out there are awake now to this whole New World Order system? Your comments on the general points I just made.
The government and military industrial complex contractors are definitely at hacker conferences recruiting. You can find at any one of these major conferences, you can find Booz Allen Hamilton, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon. They're all out there looking for people. NSA gives away scholarships at another one I know of. A lot of hackers are aware of what's going on, but they're still kind of getting the jobs doing this stuff because they're very lucrative paying jobs, and so they're whether or not they're keeping their original ethics when they're taking these jobs, I don't know, but a lot of hackers are aware of what's going on, but they're also getting jobs within the system so that they can basically live. And that might be a good thing. That might be a bad thing. It's pretty much from when people I talk to when I'm out there. A lot of people know what's going on and they're in agreement. But they'll still work at they'll still work for the government or for a defense contractor.
Well, it's clearly that old double-edged sword of it's good because as long as the hackers are into liberty and freedom, it's great to have them inside the system. The problem is that system is so corrupt and murderous that many times they go ahead and just set people up, even if you haven't betrayed the system, just because they want to have a conviction on you. So it's very destructive, and overall we need people that have knowledge of all these systems to be out there exposing the globalist as much as they can. But it is creepy to have you and many others confirm to us and send us the data that the government is out there trying to move against what we're doing, the alternative media. And then the great thing for the globalist is they can engage in these activities and then blame it on the rest of the hacker community.
And a lot of the hackers that they're using for that are criminal informants. Like with the TJX breach, the main hacker that was behind that was a Secret Service informant getting paid $80,000 a year, and at the same time he was the same guy who's doing all these big credit card breaches, stealing millions of credit card numbers, and then they use that as an excuse to start clamping down on basically internet freedoms and monitoring financial transactions, looking for fraud because your credit card was probably compromised by this guy, but he was working for the Secret Service at the same time, getting paid $80,000 a year, and then that was in Wired magazine.
So once you work for the government, it's also just a license to engage in criminal activity.
That seems to be the trend. They burned him pretty bad though for when they caught him. He got sentenced to 25 years for credit card theft, which is unheard of. It's, if you kill someone, you can get 10 years, but if you steal their credit card, you get 25.
Well, that could bring down the entire system, all of this fraud that's going on. And so many times it's come out that the big banks are actually releasing this themselves and then using it as a pretext to try to bring in even more control because they can then put regulations in that are so strong, only mega banks will be able to comply with all of it. Winston Smith, good talking to you, and appreciate all of your help, and continue the great work there at Federal Jack, and We Are Change, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Now, for the rest of this hour and much of the next, but I do have some other economic news, world news, police state news I've got to get to. And we probably should just have open phones today talking about the shooting. It's so dramatic to have the footage of it, that deranged person there in Florida. I mean, just so many acts of heroism by the lady hitting him with the bag in the back of the head, with the purse, and one of the school board people saying, well, if I'm the bad guy, go ahead and kill me. Just let everybody else go. It's just all wild. And the roller coaster is just getting going. I mean, society is going to get crazier and crazier from here on out. We're going to look back on 2010 and see it as tame, good old days. But the fact is, we're going into this. The question is, will we come out on the other side totally enslaved, or will we come out on the other side rediscovering liberty and freedom and rediscovering independence and rediscovering real community and discovering real values of liberty and freedom? Because liberty is the engine of wealth. But with liberty comes wealth, then comes decadence, then comes enslavement, because people stop standing up for freedom. We're going to go to Lindsey Williams with a giant data dump of information. Unfortunately, Mr. X, who we can now reveal his name, he revealed it a month ago here on air, but now the poor fellow has died of cancer, former Atlantic Richfield head of operations. And a lot of it he couldn't talk about with his inside information until this gentleman had passed. Now he can, but we're going to go to him in just a moment. First, I need to tell you about some of the sponsors that have made today's radio broadcast possible. And first off is efoodsdirect.com. I mean, look, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. That's my favorite saying, is it's true, or a brain surgeon to know, because I'm certainly not a rocket scientist or a brain surgeon, that we need to have firearms, we need to have food, water, self-sufficiency, and friends we can count on and family. That's what this is all about, having community. And it starts with food. They got high quality, recently, freshly packaged, different food lines, from gourmet to raw foods. They got it all. Freeze-dried, dehydrated, you name it. And they've got a free shipping special going for just another week or two. You can find out at efoodsdirect.com, the letter E, foodsdirect.com, or 800-409-5633, 800-409-5633, or efoodsdirect.com. And lastly, with the holidays going right now, it's all made in America. And they've got a deal where when you go on their site and buy some of their products at Diamond Gusset Jeans, the website's Gusset, Gusset.com, Gusset.com/America. You can get 3 free gifts, T-shirts, a new music CD that's really good country music, dealing with, getting our industrial base back. A lot of great stuff, great jeans, motorcycle jeans, regular jeans, and a lot more at Gusset.com/America, or 888-8-GUSSET, 888-8-GUSSET if you want to ask about the different specials. Again, Gusset.com/America, or 888-8-GUSSET. And just, again, we couldn't do it without the sponsors. Lastly, here for viewers and listeners, we are listener-supported. And I promote sponsors I believe in. Firearms, storable foods, high-quality made-in-America jeans, my documentary films, the books, the videos we carry at Infowars.com. If you order by Friday, we can guarantee you're going to get it before Christmas. We've got the 5 of my best-selling films for $24.95. That special, the Alex Jones Essential Collection, that's going to end after Christmas. We've got PrisonPlanet.tv, $5.95 a month with the monthly, or get close to 50% off. It's 5.3 months off on the yearly. So you pay for 6.7, you get 5.3. Free months, and you can share your passcode with friends and family. Just make sure the passcode in your bank account number, folks. I say, hey, 6 people can sign in with the same username passcode. And people email me and they go, well, I don't want to give my neighbor my passcode. Well, then make one up. The point is, share or give PrisonPlanet.tv memberships to friends and family. I mean, my book, Paul Watson's book, we've got the incredible insider from Rand Corporation video, Alex Abaya. He didn't believe in any of this till he was in there. Only person ever allowed in their annals, because he'd written books that they were favorable to. It's a bestseller. We went to California, interviewed him. That's going up tomorrow, or Friday, excuse me. We're adding 2-3 new, high quality, super high res, in-depth interviews every week. The live radio show, the higher quality podcast, commercial free, the video podcast, the live streams, 7 years of media, PrisonPlanet.tv, and it supports our operation. I want to commend and thank all of you out there that have supported us. And be sure while you're at it to support our local AM and FM affiliates. They are so wonderful. If you're a local listener and have a business, sponsor that local station. Spread the word about that station. We're all doing this together. We are getting so many new affiliates. It is so exciting. The stations are getting great ratings, which shows the truth sells. People couldn't believe this stuff 10 years ago when I was telling them. Now it's all coming true. It's out in the open, and we've just got to have the will to face it and do something about it. I mean, you think it's scary to come out and exposed DynCorp for running giant child kidnapping rings worldwide. They run the local CPS right here in Texas. I mean, think about the ramifications of that. But it's in the WikiLeaks documents. It's been in mainstream news for years. There's new stuff. I mean, you know, it's got to be done. In fact, I'm getting a sick feeling just thinking about it. But, folks, this is so real. That's why new listeners tune in and they think, there's no way this could be real because it's so shocking. It's much worse than I can even tell you. Okay? All right, folks, I want to shift gears. He'll be with us until the last 15 minutes of the next hour. We appreciate him joining us, but I got a news blitz coming up then. Plus this incredible news. They're announcing they may have full-bore martial law in England. That's what this announcement means, saying no protest nationwide. Watson's getting an article out on that right now at prisonplanet.com. But things are just getting crazier and crazier by the minute. But going to Lindsey Williams, he was a pastor and was in the board meetings as their official chaplain for many years on the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. It's got more oil than Saudi Arabia. He was there and watched them shut it off and not let them ship it out. He was privy to all of that. And you know, decades after he wrote his book, that's all mainstream knowledge now. And again, people are like, this stuff's wild what Williams is saying. Well, I happen to know that everything he talked about 25 years ago came true because it was already real. And he predicted that gas would go from $60 a barrel to $150 in 6 months. It happened. He's predicted so much here because of his sources. He's got 2 former oil company executives. One of them has just died and completely spilt his guts before he died. Mr. X, we gave his name out a month ago when Williams was here. But Williams, just briefly recapping, sir, and I appreciate you joining us and coming on a little bit late. I had to finish up with that WikiLeaks hacker insider information. But just recap Mr. X's name, what the family said, when he passed, and then the stuff that you couldn't talk about until he had died.
Well, Alex, thank you for allowing me to be on your show today because that's correct. The Mr. X of my book, Energy Non-Crisis, there were actually 2 of them. One of them just passed away days ago. His name is Ken Fromm. Now, if any of you would like to do what Alex has done, you can go and find it for yourself. Find out his position, find out his place, realize that he positively was one of the elitist of the world. And before this man passed away, he told me everything. And you're going to hear some things today for the very first time because out of respect for the family, until after the funeral, I did not want to say certain things. Now, Alex, I know on the last show I did with you back, probably a month ago, you were pushing real hard to get me to say what might have been told me, but out of respect for the family, I felt that I had to hold back certain things until after he died. Now, he is dead. Therefore, I'm going to give you today many of the things that he told me. Now, Alex, I feel so fortunate, though, because you've heard me say many times that by the providence of God, all of these things have happened. The fact that I was the chaplain on the Trans-Alaska Oil Pipeline, literally lived with the elite of the world for 3 years, had the opportunity to sit across the dinner table from them, live in the same dorms with the people that you hear about in the World Bank, the IMF, the top oil company officials of the world. I take no credit for any of that. All of that is by the providence of God. And something else has just happened that I think has got to be the providence of God. After Ken Fromm died,